So welcome to our lesson for today on proportional reasoning, and it's section 2.3 in your textbook, the last topic for chapter 2. So we probably should define what proportion is in the first place. So definition down here says a proportion is a relationship that says that two ratios or two rates are equal. So for example, if let's talk about a rate here. Let's say I can go 30 kilometers in 4 hours. I want to know how many kilometers I could go in maybe 9 hours. Right? So it's two fractions, right? It's often a proportion is set up with the fraction being equal. You could do it with ratios as well, right? You could say, okay, 2 to 4 is going to be the same thing as question mark to 8. Right? But often we write it in fractions. It's easier to express that way. Now you can use multiple different strategies to solve the same problem. And that's what we're going to spend time on today. Now, you do need to know how to do both strategies. A lot of times you have a choice, but at some point I want to see if you know how to do both. So let's try the first example. We're going to do the unit rate method first, which you're probably comfortable with by now. And then we're going to do it as a proportion. Should get the same answer. Let's see. Potato farmer can plant 3 potato plants per 0.5 meters squared. I want to know how many plants she can plant in an area of 85. Right? So there's my 0.5 meters squared in here. And I've got 1, 2, 3 plants. So let's figure out how much she can do in a larger area. So unit rate means how many for 1. Right? Now remember how to find the unit rate. You're going to take the number of plants. Right, so I've got 3 plants, divide it by whatever area that we're looking at. If I go 3 plants divided by 0.5 of a meter, what happens is that I get 6 plants per meter squared. And maybe you were able to figure that out without a calculator, right? Like, 0.5 a meter, double it, that's 1. So this is great information. Once I have this unit rate, I can take that, multiply it by 85, and I'll have the right number of plants. Check this out. 6 plants per meter squared times 85 meters squared, right, ends up being 6 times 85. 6 times 85. Whoops, that didn't work out. 85 times 6. So 510 plants. It's a lot of potatoes. Let's solve the same question as proportion. So I'm going to set up an equivalent fraction. Now, this we talked about cross multiplication before, like the multiplier, all that sort of stuff. It's going to come into play. So at 3 plants over 0.5 meters squared is going to be X number of plants, right, over 85 meters squared. They're the same proportion. So you can do it cross multiplication style, or often people like to look for a multiplier. So what do I have to multiply 0.5 by to get 85? Now, it's kind of hard to figure out. So sometimes you go 85 divided by the number, right? You'll get your multiplier. So in this case, times 170. So if I take 0.5, multiply it by 170, I get 85. If you do something to the bottom, you got to do it to the top. Okay? And check this out. 3 times 170 equals 510. Same answer, right? So it doesn't matter which way you do it. The plants are going to be 510. Cool, eh? So let's try one more, and I'll give you a chance to practice. Here it says electricity costs 11.58 cents for 2 kilowatt hours. How much does 30 kilowatt hours cost? Give your answer the nearest tenth of a cent, right? That's 1 decimal place. So let's do it with a proportional reasoning. I know it's 11.58 for 2. Right, I'll just leave out the units now to make it clear. I want to know how much is it going to be for 30. This was a little easier, right? To get from 2 to 15, or to 30, I multiply by 15. I got to do the same things to that top number. So 11.58 times 15 equals 173.7. So how much it would cost, and we're talking cents, right? So this is 173.7 cents for 30 kilowatt hours. So watch those units, right? So that's it's almost $2, right? $1.74, so 75. Okay, this one's for you to try, right? So pause the video, see what you can do. 72 players on 8 baseball teams. You're trying to figure out the number on 2 teams. Try to show your answer 2 different ways. Good luck. Okay, welcome back. So remember, you can always check your answers, post on the website. Let's look at this question here. So you'll get nice, easy ones like this too. So here you're trying to figure out these question marks. Now, all 3 of these are equivalent. So up in the previous question, you had 2 proportions. Here you've got 3. So let's see what we can do. Now, to get from 3 to 18, right? Now, this one might be pretty easy for you. Take a look at the bottom, right? And to get from 24 to 12. So let's see what happens. Now, to get from 3 to 18, that means I have to multiply by 6. To get from 24 to 12, I divide by 2. Right? So that means that this first fraction is going to be smaller than this middle one, and the last one's going to be smaller than the middle one, right? Because 3 is smaller than 18, so that means that same thing here. What number times 6 gives me 24, right? That'll work. And then for the last one, right, I have to divide that 18 by 2. So question mark number 1, right, that's going to be 4, because 4 times 6 is 24. And here, if I take 18 divided by 2, I get 9. So those are my 3 equivalent fractions. Why don't you try B, right, and see if you can find these missing ones. All we've done now is thrown in some units. And then this is going to be your homework as well. And that's it for today. All right, good luck.